we have another exciting tour. Ryan Niemiec came up to us in Michigan and was like, "Hey, I'm kind of interested in doing this," and was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're okay." Then he sent us a video, and we were like, "Heck yes, let's see it." So we set aside a good chunk of time for Ryan to show off his collection, and then to show off some other stuff. That he very knowledgeable guy. For all of you. Oh, sorry, catching my breath still, mostly because I'm overweight.
Well, while you're doing that, Ryan, you are in here twice. Should I spotlight the one that your video is on, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
All right.
Yeah.
So Ryan's from Cincinnati. So you might have seen him around at some of those local shows there. So we're going to spotlight Ryan. There you go. And Ryan is unmuted. So Ryan, it's all you now, bud.
Okay, thanks, Landon and Morgan. So great to be here. I've been at all the virtual PEZ conventions and loved everyone. Hi, everybody. Great to see you all. So I'm going to offer 3 parts. So the first part is going to be generally more of the common dispensers across 12 different cases. And then the second part is going to be mostly vintage dispensers. And then the third part, I'm going to do a little screen share to share something with you guys and see if you're kind of interested in something that I've been working on. So let me move my camera here. So this is we'll start with part 1, Got PEZ. So this is kind of my basement, kind of here's a general scan of the room. About 12 cases. We're going to turn it into kind of a game room, the ping pong table. We'll get like maybe a hand shuffleboard kind of thing going too. So I'm going to go fairly quickly since these tend to be a little bit more of the common dispensers. Let me know if the video stifles at all.
Yeah, looks good.
Okay, good. So some of the one-off European ones are kind of interesting here. The elephant xenophant. I love what Jim Blaine did with the Michigan PEZ convention dispensers there. A few other ones, the PEZ movie. In general, I was kind of like probably many of you, just trying to get one of everything. And then I realized it's impossible almost to get one of absolutely everything that PEZ comes out with, and there's all the variations. So I kind of stopped or slowed down on collecting some of the ones that come out each year and just focused on vintage, which I'll share later. It's kind of a few nuggets within these, like some of these different kind of Spider-Mans, sort of like a test piece Spider-Man, and few you will eventually in some of these you'll see some of the minis, the Japanese minis, which I have about half of the mini sets. Here's all the presidents and various baseball and the different sport ones here. I really like the Bubble Man, some minis scattered. I'm running out of space, so there's a lot of variations of Sylvester there. There's certain characters I take an interest in, and then get as many variations as I can. I need to be able to display those Sylvesters a little bit better. Some of them snowmen, and there's some nice. I like those peppermint patties. Christopher Jarlson, he's one of the PEZ artists. I'll feature several PEZ artists in my collection, and so Chris Jarlson's one of those, and those were kind of fun. I'm not a big fan of the trucks, but enough to have a full display of several of them. I think some of these newer ones by PEZ are really creative with the Transformers and the dinosaurs. Another character I've been fascinated with is the Santa. So I don't know, I have a good 30 or so variations. So you might think they kind of start here and then kind of progressing. I have a few more upstairs with the vintage that I'll share a little bit later. Really like some of these Japanese minis here. These guys, I don't remember what they're called, but some of those sets of 5 have some really cool characters. I won these at an auction at Pezomania. It was like a bidding auction, and these witches, really beautifully done. I think I got them for like $20 total. And then I since saw some sell for a couple hundred, but I like the psychedelic eyes a lot. So I tried to get most of those colors as well. Sometimes, you know, because I do a lot of presenting around the world and people know I collect PEZ, so they'll give me a PEZ as sort of like a little gift. And then I always have people sign it. So that's what some of these are up here, is people signing some of the PEZ dispensers, like on the inside sleeve or on the side. And then I kind of, otherwise I'll probably forget just who gave it to me. But so that's a way to kind of remember and honor that. A number of different minis here. I like the Charlie Brown, so I tried to get one of all the different Charlie Browns. I got the most rare kind of one upstairs. I'll show you. It's one of Penny's kind of awesome creations. I have a fascination with the Anna character from Frozen as well. Don't worry, it's a healthy thought. So I got a few of those, and certainly love the Star Wars. So try to get one of each of those. A number of Yoda variations there. There's a couple other the minis. I don't know if there's any Seinfeld fans, but these were going around on eBay. Somebody created the little packet there of Tweety. And this is my family without me, but me taking the picture at the PEZ Center in Connecticut. And then, of course, you can put your head on a PEZ dispenser. So each of my family members did that, and we cut out the pictures. So there's my family there, PEZ bingo card. So that's the quick or fairly quick part one. Well, let me see. Here's another PEZ artist, Emily, and then some of the PEZ pins. Not really a pin collector, but thought this was kind of a cool display for these pins. So, okay, so that's part one. Now let me quickly go up to do part two for you all. Is my sound still okay, Landon?
Yes, you still sound good. You look good.
Okay. So before I get into this, so my goal maybe 15 years ago was to get one of every vintage dispenser that was either $1,500 or less. And of course, never paying that much, but trying to get one of each one. Now, of course, not every variation of everything, because again, I think that's impossible because we're always discovering new, rare kind of variations, but one of each. And so I think I finally did it. So what you saw, there's some vintage downstairs, and then there's a bunch more here. So that's what I'll dig into a little bit. Maybe before I do that, let me turn around and show. I got this ad sheet from Joe Paravati, and then I think it was his idea actually. I then put dispensers, or had a local framer kind of put dispensers on there. And it kind of did a really beautiful job with the colors on the inside of the frame and kind of museum quality glass and UV protection and all that. So really kind of neat. And he also did this with Mr. Mystic. Now, I know there's some controversy of whether Mr. Mystic is real or not as a dispenser. You know, some people say that it could be, you know, ringmaster hat with the red part taken off, and then a Zorro figure. But if it is real, this one for sure would be real, because this one actually is the one that was in the PEZ guide of Sean Peterson's. This is, or the photograph taken. So if you look at the photograph in Sean's guide, it says from the Marianne Kennedy collection. And I bought this from John LaSpina when he was selling Marianne, and still is, I think, selling Marianne Kennedy's collection. So this was actually hers. So right there from the book. So I felt really honored to have that. So I decided to really make it special and a really nice frame for it. So those are a couple. I don't frame everything, but actually this is all I framed, but I thought that was kind of neat. Okay, so let me start from the bottom here. I guess like Jason, I'm fascinated with the music merrymakers. I can't hold a candle to his collection, but again, I've tried to get one of everything and maybe some of the more uncommon variations, like you earlier, like that. You know, some of these kind of unique stems, the white stem and the penguin. You know, when
Ryan, I think your hand might be over your microphone or something.
Okay.
Yep,
Is that better?
Yep, much better.
When I first started getting into the vintage, I would kind of go in sets. So I was like, okay, I want to get every bicentennial. And then I want to get every soft head superhero. And then I want to get in, and then I finally, once I had that many, I kind of said, okay, I'm just going to try to get one of everything that's within reason. And there's the black pig, which, there's, as Jason said, some questions about it, but really, really cool. This one might be a sun faded duck that's green, but I still love it. It's actually one of my favorite pieces, even if it's a sun faded one. So when I was trying to get these bicentennials, as probably everybody knows, the Daniel Boone's pretty hard to get. For me, the hardest one to finally get was the wounded soldier, with at least a little bit of the red showing of the wound. And so I was finally very excited when I finally got that. One of the first vintage I ever got was Dumbo. And it was a gift from my sister. My sister attended PEZmania with me, and she wanted to give me a gift. And she's like, I bought this for you for, $15, $17. And I was like, oh my gosh, you spent that much on a PEZ dispenser? That's incredible. And then things unfold from there, but it all starts with a couple $15 purchases, and then it keeps going. So several mimics over there. These aren't vintage down here, but these are just kind of unique ones from different countries, like the Gundam series, or the bullet trains from Japan, or the new version of the Sparefro, or the Bundesrats from Germany, or this from Poland, the figure there, Science Guy, Beethoven, Katrina. So there's some mixing in different ones there. There's a cool cat. Really like the uniqueness of these dispensers here that were made a good 70 years ago. Then going up to the next case, I like the cockatoos. So very few, the black one, the red one would be more on the rare side. I really love Yappy, of course. The blue one I know is not a genuine one. They put different pieces together for it, but it's still one of my favorites. I really kind of like that kind of creativity when that kind of thing surfaces. Each of the variations of the elephant, in terms of the hats at least, and the hair. There's some of the cowboys. I don't see those a whole lot. There are two different Bullwinkles, two main different footballs. I know that you can get different footballers. Various Mr. Uglies. I tried to get every shade of green I could. I think I got most of those. One of the other first vintage I got was the Popeye, and I remember I got this on eBay. It's not in great condition, but for like $20 or $30. And I remember just being so excited and quoting to my family, I got a 2.6 vintage, and nobody knew what I was talking about, but I was really excited that I had a 2.6 dispenser. So here's the various superhero soft heads. Here's kind of a fake hair on the Hulk, which is kind of fun. Green Hornet. Here's some fantasies by Penny. Really well done. This is a test piece here. This is kind of a rare witch with a kind of a colored sleeve on the inside. This is a test piece, Winnie the Pooh. Resin Chewbacca. Awesome Star Wars C3PO piece made I believe it's for the pig convention. So again, I do like the test pieces. I know not everybody does, but I just love the differences in colors, and it gives me something else to collect, and so some of the resins and test pieces here. Green's my favorite color, so I tend to get green things like the Mickey Mouse. A couple of pewter bride and groom there. Really incredible artistry done by that. I forget what that's called, the Mad Libs, or whatever it is. Some more test pieces in here. This is from the Marion Kennedy collection, Fantasy Flash, Sylvia's Clowns. We've seen those a couple times today. And I really thought this Bitcoin, this was a charity win. This was kind of cool. I really like the blonde Peter Pan, and that is a legitimate variation, because some people have had it in the in the on the card or cello, whatever one it would be in. So that I think it's really kind of just unique, because Peter Pan didn't have blonde hair. So I kind of just find it fascinating that some various astronauts. There's a Steve Blues Black Santa and White Santa. which are two of my favorites. This is kind of just a very tall regular from the 50s, I believe. Each of the monsters, that was another one of the ones I wanted to get early on, all the different monsters. So you have the Frankenstein and a few different creature from the Black Lagoon, which is one of the movies I'm kind of obsessed with. Original Sparrow with the coin, obviously Lions Club, the Vushko, Wolf, Olympic Snowman. This is another Sylvia resin witch. And then, and one of the first, I just was really fascinated by the die cut. So that was one of the first, another one of the early series I tried to get is I said I wanted to get every one of the die cuts. And so then I would be on the hunt for each of the 5 die cuts. And I kind of included the witch, even though it's not a die cut, it's the witch is engraved on the side of the stem, which is kind of neat. I like the one-eyed monster and the octopus. This is I think it's a controversy of whether this is real or not. I've heard some people say yes, some say no. Even one of the great experts on the octopus said he didn't know for sure. But I liked it enough to get it, and it wasn't that expensive. Then we get into some of the pals, a couple of variations on the pirate, two-toned jack-lantern, some variations on the Maha and the Sheik. Just got one nurse and one doctor. I like those crystal firemen and policemen. This is the mayor. People have called this the mayor, where it's putting together different parts to look like this. So that's kind of neat. This is a fantasy by Chris Yarlson, the fantasy pilgrim. There's a non-fantasy, the Mexican and the engineer and the knight and a pretty cool ringmaster. And if I can barely reach to the top here, but another character I collect is Papa Smurf. And I just found it fascinating, some of these, the eyes on these Papa Smurfs. And so I'll just show those quickly. I'm standing on my tiptoes to be able to reach these, so I'll quickly go through those. So that's those. And then another character I liked is Lucy, and I spent forever looking for this. I mean, this was one of the hardest things to find, and the price has gone up. From the guide, it was like originally, like $70, and now they're going repeatedly for $400, $500. So luckily I didn't pay that much. But is one that I just thought that was just really cool. All these are different Lucy's, in some way, shape, or form. The tone of the skin, the colors. There's a couple of fantasies. There's a Swarovski crystal. There's the rare Charlie Brown, a Lucien card, a faceless Lucien card. And here's the Eries, just the Made in Hong Kong series, all 6 of those. It was a cool picture in the background. I got that from John Hicks. Cool pin set. And this is kind of neat. The Less Than Jake, which is kind of a 90s emo alternative band, and they had a album called the PEZ Dispenser, and I guess one of the band members was into that, and so they made this actual figure that was sold, which is really kind of a neat thing, I think. Out of these giants, I just cared about the Lucky Charms one, so I got that. Loved the show Game of Thrones, so feature that. There's some original psychedelic eyes, the flower, and 2 of the eyes. I don't have all of the different eyes in terms of what they say. A couple different ones. Now here's some extraordinary. I mean, I think many of you have maybe seen some of these. I mean, take a look at these fantasies by Angelo Canali, I think is his name.
Yep, that's right.
The detail is just insane. I mean, these are just, to say work of art is kind of an understatement, but so that's all of his. These are all his, except for the zombie in the back there. There's 4 zombies. The rest of these are Angelo. So about how much time do I have left, Landon?
About 10 minutes.
Okay. Scan through Donald Duck is another character I've been fascinated with to get the variations. There's a really cool test piece where it's a crystal hat and a yellow face. Some kind of unique stem colors in some of the Donalds. That's a Swarovski crystal Donald. My other fascination in terms of TV shows is The Walking Dead. And so here's Walking Dead. I have 2 sets of these. This is one of them. And there's actually different stem colors. Here's the other one.
Wow.
Now for my highlight, might not be for everybody else, is I collect the Croc A. So I have almost 70 of Croc A. And I was thinking about different ways to display them, and I didn't come up with anything. So this is just how they are in the wild in my house here. So it's Croc A mixed in with different Croc things. Like there's a Croc and cello back there, and some Croc B on cards, the bendy Croc, the giant Croc, the stuffed animal Croc, 2 cards, the blue toothbrush, various Croc B, and different crystals and so on. So while I'm on that, why don't I just kind of say something else about it? So if I just pull out this sleeve here, these are the most rare Crocs. The blue Croc, I think, is the most rare of rare, then the purple. And then there are these really beautiful dark greens, which you don't see too often, or the dark green with white eyes. But there are several of those out there. Another dark green. And then there's this. I've maybe, I don't think I've actually ever seen quite, I don't know if the camera can capture it, but it's a very unique pistachio. These kind of 2 are different pistachio colors, but this one's a weird, darker, muted green of some kind. It's really kind of one of my favorite because I haven't seen it before. But some people have kind of these different pistachio ones. And then, this medium green is kind of the next level of common, and then with the white eyes, and then the most common ones being these that you saw, the fluorescent ones and the aqua ones, which are the ones that you see most frequently. And no display could be complete without the VPC. So here's the VPC.
Hey.
I think I have all of them. I'll need to get the truck, but those are featured prominently. Another show, of course, I love Breaking Bad. I mean, how insanely talented is the person that made this? I mean, if you've seen Breaking Bad, I mean, this is Walt and this is Jesse. I mean, it's one thing to see it. Like when I bought it, I saw it just in a picture and you're seeing it in a camera. When you're holding it and looking at it, it's even better. I mean, it's kind of incredible. I also love Planet Earth stuff because that's part of my research and the science that I work on is to try to improve planet Earth in terms of caring for the environment. So I wanted to get various planet Earth stuff. And I really love this. This is glass, which I thought was kind of neat. And there's plant a tree with a mini Groot there. Now here's the pig, a shout out to the pig convention in Cincinnati, the PEZ that Josh Bales does. And the last time the giveaway was this here, which is a make-a-pig. Now I'm not going to be able to afford or have a make-a-face, I wouldn't think. And but you can have a make-a-pig, which is maybe second best. So that was pretty cool. And then some other Cincinnati dispensers back there. And then the other character, final character, I guess that I'm fascinated with is Daffy Duck. And was just fascinated that there's, 2 main molds to Daffy Duck. I mean, basically this one, and then basically, this one, these 2. But yet all of these are different. And that's what just fascinates me about the variations. And maybe it does for many of you as well, that there's just all these different fun colors, and the eyes are doing this. And for Daffy, it's whether it's stencil eyes, removable eyes, stem colors, and is there a tongue or no tongue, and feet or no feet? I mean, it's just so cool, I think. And that's what got me into collecting one of a character in that sense. So of course I had to get a Swarovski crystal one, and this gray one, or this beige one here is from Penny. This is one of my favorites. Penny also did this. I love PEZ. She did that kind of in my favorite color, green. Here's some test pieces I got from Joe of Sylvester. Since I was sharing with you earlier, I love the Sylvester. And then a little bit of a Steve Blue series. I don't have all of them, but several. There's the Stand By Me in a package that they sold since that was featured in the movie. Well, you know what? I thought I was done, but I have some more. So here's a bunch of resin pieces. Just look really cool, I thought. So again, I'm running out of things to collect. So in terms of pets, so I'm like, okay, well, now I'll start to do this. And then some of my more cherished pieces, a Mary Poppins, the rare hippo, the baseball. That's a replica home plate and bat, but the rest is obviously real. Here's a Princess Di. I guess I learned there was Bob and Faye Timpton that made maybe 20 of these, and just beautiful. I just got this randomly, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago on eBay. And I actually bought it for my wife, and she doesn't collect PEZ, so I get to keep it. So that worked out great. And that was, of course, intentional. And then here's some final, just some Croc B colors that Chris Jarlson made for me, since I'm big into the Croc. So, so I think that's it on these. Unless anyone has questions or wants me to spotlight anything, I could then go to sharing my screen. What do you think, Landon?
Just one question. When it comes to buying your Crocs, do you travel with the Crocs so that you can kind of find different colors, or do you just kind of have it secured in memory?
It's secured in memory. I mean, because if you look in the Lespina guide, I mean, there's only like 6 or so listed in terms of the green or the purple, the blue, and so I have all of those. So then it's pretty ingrained in my memory. Like, oh, that looks really unique. Or it's just like, if it's a reasonable price, I'll just get it, because this is obviously kind of like an army. Whereas usually I just look for the variation, but each one of these is not a variation. These are just like the aquas, or actually these are the whites, which is kind of weird. I call these the albino alligators. Yeah. So they're kind of pure white. But it's not even listed in Lespina's guide. And then the aquas are really common. So yeah, I would just, if it's a reasonable price, I would just pick up another aqua. At some point, I'm going to have to stop. Maybe I'll stop at 100. I don't know. Maybe I'll stop now. I'm not sure, but
who knows?
Yeah, but these were the main ones I had wanted to get. So that's that.
Okay, then I'd say moving to sharing your screen.
Okay.
Good to
go.
go.
So I'm going to
remove your spotlight, and then you should be able to share.
Okay, great. Yeah, so I'm gonna cut out that Ryan Niemiec and add a different one. Okay, so the other, can you still hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, we see your screen. You're getting a little echo, so you need to mute one of your devices.
Yeah. Okay, hold on 1 second here.
Sounds like a transformer.
Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Good. Yep, you're good to go.
Oh, let me try it again. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. And so do you see on my screen, it says via classification of character strengths?
We do.
Okay. So here's, I just wanted to share this with everybody and just see if there's any interest. I don't know if there is or not. I just thought this was kind of interesting. So my work is I am a scientist and educator and practitioner in character strength. So I teach people around the world about how to tap into their best qualities. And these are strengths that every person on the planet has to different degrees. And so my work is to teach people how to build up these strengths and how to work with them in their work and their families, with their students, with their employees, with themselves, and so on. So there's these 24 strengths that researchers have found are in all people across the world, across cultures, countries, beliefs, and this is what I study. And there's been about 800 studies on these strengths in the last 15 years. So this is what I did. I've been studying these in and out for a long time. So of course I have to link anything I can with PEZ. So then I was thinking, well, it would be neat to show displays of PEZ representing or expressing these character strengths that all people have. And I know there's such deep creativity in the PEZ community. So I'm not saying I have deep creativity, but many people in the community do. But so I started to play around with different photographs of some of the my PEZ dispensers displaying these. And I haven't done all 24, but I was just curious if anybody would have any interest in this, and maybe there's some way we'd create a Facebook page or something like that and do that. But just to tell you, just to give you some examples. So, you could do a million things to display creativity. And I don't mean being creative in your displays. I mean the PEZ dispensers themselves showing creativity in some way. So like as an example, the Beethoven PEZ is on my piano, and it's just kind of a neat shot, I think, where it's a little bit faded in the background and Beethoven's there in the middle. So that might be creativity. Here's an example of curiosity, where it's a little creepy, but you have Shrek at the top, watching the different Barbies, just innocently though, but he's being curious. We could probably do a healthier version of that. That was the PG-13 one. Love of learning is one of the 24 character strengths. You have Papa Smurf, he's doing some different equations or something, or actually very easy math problems on the board there right now. And then you have different student PEZ and different mini PEZ and, children, so to speak, listening and learning. So that was kind of one idea for that. Bravery, I told you that I really like the Anna character. I actually wrote a scientific article on how Anna in Frozen is an exemplar for bravery over Elsa and all the other characters, and the reasons why and how we can learn from her and so on. So you can watch Frozen, especially Frozen, through that lens of seeing the bravery. So I thought, well, why not create something where Anna is kind of protecting people, or different characters, standing up against all these monsters, and you got the Spectres and the octopus and the creature from the Black Lagoon. And I collect Komodo dragon figures, as you can see on the screen there. I have maybe 40 or so there's a few Komodo dragons there too. So that's bravery. Maybe perseverance. This is kind of fun. You got Woody trying to push a tennis ball up the hill, like the myth of Sisyphus, I think it is. So that's perseverance. Honesty is a bit of a hodgepodge. You got Honest Abe in the background, and then Pinocchio has done something bad, cutting down the tree, and then Jiminy Cricket is conscious there, telling him that he's got to fess up. Kindness, lots of ways we could do that, but the doctor and nurse kind of helping out the fallen superhero there, and you can see the PEZ. Those are PEZ cars in the background, where there is a crash, and so there's the kindness there. Teamwork, I need to do better on this one, but some of the bugs are working as a team to rescue another bug amongst a sea of crocodiles. And then one more, spirituality is one of the 24 strengths. So I have various different belief systems. So, you could see different, Native American to mystical to Maha to an angel to Peter Pan fantasy. So various ways of looking at spirituality, all kind of focused in on a lotus flower. So, a million ways you could do this, and it'd be cool to see 20 different versions of spirituality, or at least one of each character strength. So, so I just thought that would be interesting here. I'll put my email. We could put it in the chat too, but I'll put it right here. If you are interested, by the way, in character strengths, you can go to that website there and take there's a free measure of character strengths. 25 million people have taken it around the world. Someone takes it every 10 seconds of every minute. So it's a 10-minute survey. And you could go there and learn what are your unique character strengths, and then display PEZs that display those. So, but feel free to email me if you're interested in this idea of doing something with photographs and PEZ. You email me back channel or in the chat here, and maybe we can come up with something creative. Or store my email for future thoughts. So that'll be it, I think, Landon.
Awesome. Thank you, Ryan. That's very interesting. Morgan and I both do speaking. We both do some public speaking, and that is very interesting to us. Thanks to Ryan. Ryan's also on Facebook. You have his email there. If you want to see more or learn more about what Ryan's working on, and just about that collection, about all those crocs, about all the stuff we saw lots of cool stuff. And Ryan, if I get you to unshare your screen.
Yes, sure.
Thank you. And we are going to move on. Thanks again to Ryan. That was so much to process. So awesome. So many awesome people in our community. Feel very fortunate to be a part of it.